Remember our sphere that we captured? Did all that. Hello, Hopkinson. I'll try to pull up that link too, if you want. Yeah, I'll make her a mod. cloud. Or, no, it's not. All right, howdy folks, welcome back. I told you I would be back. All right, I can't make Grace a mod while I'm doing the show though, so I will get to that after the show though. I can go back in, just make sure you leave a, well, you can leave a comment. It might take a couple days until the chat actually gets posted, and then so if Grace, if you leave a comment after this is over, I can go right to your comment and tap your thing and give you the wrench right away. So after the show's over. All right, now let's get to business. We got a lot to cover tonight. While we're waiting for this, okay, I'd like to thank all of you guys for taking a moment of your time, your precious time, to be with this precious family. And I think you know what I mean. All right. So, sorry, I'm not all organized yet. Still kind of having a rough day. So, bear with me. Here we go. So, while that's loading up, oh, it did? Okay. Here we are, May 11th. All right. We already took a little sneak peek at this last night. That event right there. Okay. And then there was more. There's this off to the right, and then the event down below. Okay, so, and our proton storm going on too. Okay, so let this loop come back around. You'll catch the opening frame and go through this frame by frame. I like to do that here instead of just plucking out one thing and picking one thing. Nope, you deserve to see every frame that they got. Excuse me. All right, so opening frame, May 11th, 024. You see our spires, our little glowing regions here. Let me get this maximized for you. Okay, let's start marching away. Looks like there might be something here. Also, some kind of magnetic field in that region there. Now, here comes our event on this side right here. And that wide structure. Okay. And then we have our event over on this side. Yeah, there's no space right now, Grace. It has to be wait until the thing's over, until the show's over. If you have a link that you wanted to post, I wish we could do that. Anyways, let me get back to the show, and we'll take care of that in a little while. Okay, sweetie? All right, so right about this point here, we have this event coming over on the left here, and we covered this one last night. This is our bigger object passing by. You can see the curvature of it, the plasma going off the back side. We're going to go into this image here so you can see what I'm talking about. All right, and how it correlated to the other image that I had last night. Okay, here's our black round object right here. The plasma is going over it. And then once it reaches the top, kind of streaks over like that, while the rest of the curvature still comes back around. Okay, you can see the low pressure. See how it's all fuzzy here? After this goes over, there builds up a low pressure area on the backside right there, right? We've seen that flow before. Here's our little satellite moon, just totally enveloped in plasma. You can make out like a little tiny dot right there. The rest is all just enveloped in plasma, blinding the camera. But what we're looking at is the curvature. Something's bending light right here. Okay, something bending light down here too. Gravity bends light. Okay, so there's something either Earth or magnetic So there's something magnetic or gravity right there bending the light. You see this streak bending around it. See that bending? You can see low pressure on the back side. See how it's all fuzzy right there? Nice and crisp and clear right up to here, and then it loses, as it blows over the back side. Hang on just a sec here. I'm gonna read something in the chat just real quick. Okay, if you put it in the chat, you could try it that way until I get this done. Swear it seems like something hit the sun. Yep, it didn't hit the sun. It's going past the sun. Or if it's a bigger object, I believe we're going past it. Okay, so we can get to the physics of that later. Let's continue on, though. Those are great questions. Great comments already. Anyone else have a weird headache? Yeah, I think a lot of people have had that weird headache, ears ringing effect for a while now. All right, so there we go. Just kind of talking to my chat, trying to interact a little more. You can see our cookie cutter image right there. Should take a screenshot of that. Whoops. And put it in the archive. Meanwhile, let's get back to business. So we had this event move off, and it's the one that caused the big proton storm. You could see protons just as this thing was approaching, and then when it interacts with the sun, poof, all these protons, as this thing interacts with the sun, it passes on by. All right, so we cleared that event. Note the teardrop shape type structure from, a round object moving through, moving through something, moving through the solar wind, okay, which is matter. There's matter in there. Okay, now we have this event over here on the right. It's all blinded here in the plasma, but over here you can see a dark curvature. Maybe you can't. Let's zoom it in and slide it over. Now maybe you can see it. There we go. So right there, something coming out. You can see the plasma reaching out, kind of arching this way to it. A little bit of plasma built up on the back side of it. All kinds of stuff shooting around out there. All right, so there's that object. A little bit better shot of it since it's blinded on the other side here. Sorry about all the zooming in and out, but we got to do it. So, just give me a little bit more. There we go. So that object proceeds to move on out of frame there. Looks like a secondary object down below here. Maybe a third right in there. See those? I don't feel like zooming in on that. You can see them. They're moving through. And then we have another event down below here. Watch this. Here, hold my beer. Watch this. Bingo. You see that little dot right in the middle right there? See this little black dot with the plasma built up on the backside? There's a little magnetic barrier on the backside. Let me get right up in it here. Oh, we can go even more. Got to take a look at the screen too when I'm doing it so I can see. Come here. All right. Central object. You can see the little magnetic ring going around the back, keeping the plasma at a certain range. You see how this white hot plasma is streaks from after that little thing. Okay, so there's something there. Actually, this could be our round object, and this would be like the aurora effect on the top of this spheroid right here. Now, now that I look at it through the camera, the screen here on my phone, that would be like the very top of the sphere. It would go around in a circle like that, come back up, and this would be the aurora band at the top of said spheroid. And you see the interaction right there. I don't know. Let's go one more frame here. I think that's it right there. Are we max zoom? Yeah, we're max zoom. Yeah, I think that's what's happening. Something going on there, obviously. I'll let you guys be the judge of it as well. Let's back up a frame or two. Anyways, you can see our CME out front here. That'll probably be coming our way. Look at this little magnetic band right here. Do you see that one as well? And then a little like a field line. Here's a magnetic band, and then there's a difference between this band and this band. It's in the thing the whole way, it looks like, almost. Sorry the thing jumps, but I'm using the buttons on my computer so I don't have to zoom out. All right, and I believe that's our last frame right there. All right, so it looks like fire almost licking off the back of it right there. Okay, so spheroid object interacting with the sun. Also, oh boy, how do I tell you guys this one? Oh, when we get there. All right, let me zoom back out of this. Oh, someone concurs. Ah, it's nice to be agreed with. Don't you agree when you're telling somebody something and they go, yeah, I hear you, I agree. A little reassurance sometimes helps. Oh, I think I got another image over on the other side here. Just a second here. We got to go back in because over here it's painted for us. I can't do that. Oh, this way again. It is. It's right there. It's the spheroid right here, and that's the effect I think we're seeing. Well, it's not really capturing it like the actual computer does. That's why you guys need to come over to this instrument and mess around with it a little bit and look at some of these. Ooh, maybe there. Yeah, come over here and, look for yourself sometimes because don't just take my word for it. It's good to know and good to figure out how this thing works. All right, let me brighten this back up again. All right, thank you for your patience, guys. All right, so that was our closing frame right there, I believe. Yeah, it was. All right, so let's start that loop again. We'll kind of center this and then let that whole loop play. I'm going to slide it over a little bit so you get to see all the action. All right, so there's your activity for May 11th. All right, a lot of activity going on the sun because we have all these objects in the vicinity. All right, I think what's going on is we're traveling through a band of objects that are rotating around a bigger central object. And these are all different size satellites with their own little satellites, similar to solar systems with a central object and, and orbiting Orbiting satellites. And what I mean by satellites is other stellar bodies, not satellites, not your Netflix satellite or, SpaceX satellite, not that type. I mean an orbiting body, as in satellite body. Okay. Excuse me. All right, so there's your activity for today. And then let's come on over to our solar ham here and check in to see what's going on. Okay, whew, not another X flare. Good. Whew. Okay, let's scooch on into our graph for the moment. Okay, it's not our regular yellow and green one that I like, but hey, it's better than nothing. So you can see we had our big X flare right here, and since we've had another little one, and then almost that's an M what 8.8 or yeah M 8.8. Okay, so yeah, one more little X flare right there, an M 8.8, and then just recently this little one right there. That was when I was probably doing prayers. And thankfully, it didn't spike this time. All right, so our current activity, at least it's not another X flare. I know it used to be exciting. Ooh, an X flare. Now you dread them and you're like, oh shit, not another one. All right, hang on. Let me back out of this a little more and pay attention here. Okay, let's get to business here. Our lifted indices still 2,500 an area, okay, and 214 is the solar flux indice. So we're way up there at 214 still. You see our baseline right here running at the M level instead of down here at the C level. Okay, at the sea floor. We're running at the floor of the M range. Here's the floor of the C range. So that would be the C floor, and this would be the M floor. So when we're running this high, any little disturbance can make it an X flare. So luckily, this event right here struck when it was down in lower indice. Okay, see what I'm saying? My bad. I'm moving all over the place. So after this peak, it dropped. If we were up higher, this spike would have peaked through the X, but it dropped into C. I'm just using the purple line because it's a little more vibrant than the yellow one. But you can see the definite drop right there, and then our flare. Okay, so it was good that it dropped before we had this impulsive one right here. Okay, now back to business here. We have X flare potential 75%. Did you ever think you'd ever see in your life when we check this map out that you would see 75% X flare? I mean, we saw it last night, but through the course of the last couple months when we've been reporting with this instrument, I'm telling you 5 and 10%, and I think it should be a little higher, maybe 10 or 15. How could I ever argue with 75% X flare? I mean, I think it should be a little higher than 75. No way. I mean, we are right there. So very very volatile right now. Our global D layer absorption, we're still absorbing our multiple waves of X flares coming in. We also have a proton storm now. It's 99%. So the add insult to injury, put some salt on the wound right there by having the proton storm as well. And what I mean by proton storm is all the little sparklies after this event happens. Okay. So right before, see, there's nothing there, and then all that because of this big old object. And whoops. This one right there. Okay, back to so we have the proton event while we're in the G5 storm. All right, it should say a little lower because you see these two bars down the yellow. All right, but real quick before we go over to that ugliness right there, the 3X flares, look, it's been XM, XM, XM. I think it's a hint to put on the XM radio and start listening to all all my music that they play on XM radio. All right, now back over to our geomagnetic forecast. Here we go for tomorrow, the 12th, another G5 event. All right. They're calling for G3 on the 13th and then back down to G1. That's their forecast. It will probably change as we have all just witnessed. All right. I think we're supposed to have another impact tonight and auroras, but nothing produced yet. So there's your percentages, your flares, and now your sunspot regions. We still have this bad boy, but it's on the very limb. Okay, all these other ones are being birthed. Okay, so we have a bunch more starting to be birthed. Wait, this sunspot I want to pull up real quick. Okay, it's over here now. We're almost to the limb. Okay, that would be like the finish line for this thing. If it could just get to the limb and round the corner, it wouldn't be in our direction anymore. But it's still right in that magnetically connected zone. It's still in that strike zone right there. Okay, until this thing clears the limb, we're in the strike zone of this thing. Now, what I wanted to tell you is I saw a video. I was watching another solar report, and their little motion video, they were showing the crackling of this area up close. And damned if there wasn't a round spheroid clear structure being silhouetted, sitting right there over this sunspot group. So last night I was saying, the magnetic complexity, how we see multiple plus minuses, that it could be multiple objects further out. Nope. It's one that's parked right there. And all this is roiling over the little spheroid. I'm going to try to find that video and bring it to you. But much like the storm that we saw that was traveling with this clear spheroid effect and the silhouette effect, same thing was going on right here at this sunspot. And when I saw it, I was just like, well, makes sense now. So, we are going to go into this now. All right. Now, over here at this channel, I'm a big stickler about the absorption that the planet endures or takes in, the energy that it takes in. Usually we're running down here at KP3 in the green, and any other event that kind of goes up above the green, I put my little thing here, right? And I say everything above that line is all energy that we're going to absorb, right? You guys remember I did that? Because anything above the 3 there is going to be a little bit added energy, right, that we absorb. All of this is powerful energy. This is X-ray energy. It's not low-powered energy. I mean, they would be tall green stripes. So we can't do that to this. You have to look at this whole chunk of energy right there that will be absorbed into the planet. Okay? That's how big of an impact you can expect from down below. All right. So tonight, when we get into the earthquake report, I'm going to try to be as serious and honest about this as possible without trying to scare everybody. But for instance, this is my measure with which I will be talking about or using this as my measure. Okay. A lot of energy in that first wave. And we have wave after wave after wave after wave after wave. Okay, so it is going to get intense. So let me back out of that. That's just a mess. I wish I could really just breathe. All right. Let me open up the auroras right now. We were supposed to be having another aurora storm tonight, but it didn't pan out. The wave hasn't arrived yet, okay? And you can see our auroras are very, very quiet at the meantime. In between these waves, sometimes there's a little lull, Okay, there's a magnetic barrier between the two peaks of the waves. And this chart kind of shows that little peak of the wave here, peak of the wave there. Something else I want to point out too. I got to pull this back up. All right. When I'm looking at charts, okay, I like to look at the flow of things, how it approached. Was it a sharp increase? Was there a gentle approach? Okay, so when I'm looking at this, okay, I'm going to try to be fair about this and honest about this. The step increase as we went up, and then the decrease as we come down, another step increase as we went up, and a step decrease as we come down. Do you see the effect I'm talking about? Understandably, here's the peak of the wave. It intensifies up to the peak and then and then dies on the backside. Similar here, right? I have a feeling that this bar right here, the chart maxes out at 9. Why would you make a chart from 1 to 9 when we always judge things on a scale of 1 to 10? How do you feel? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much pain? On a scale of 1 to 10, how good does she look or he look? Right? But on this, there's a scale of 1 to 9. I think you know where I'm going with this. The increase in steps, well, this next one would be a little bit higher, up at 10. We have our plunge and then our build up, and then here's the wave, plunge down again. This probably went off the chart, is what I'm trying to say. This first one, by the step effect, the increase going up, it would take it right up to there. If you drew a line like that, it would take it up one more notch to 10. And then this one would be maybe 9.5 or 9, and you would see that the 10 spike would be up here, and you would see the decrease, right? If this line right here went up one more box, that would be the peak, and then there would be the step decrease. That's why this is how sometimes I have to look at things this way to be objective, open, and honest. I think we have an impact that exceeded our chart. It was, quote, off the charts. You ever heard that term? Oh my God, it was something that we didn't even plan for. It was off the charts. And if you look right above the line, what number do you see right above the line? Friday, May what? Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. Okay. Do you see? I think that should be a 10. I really do. Okay, now we covered that. So very, very powerful off the chart impact, followed by a secondary, little bit weaker. Okay, and this was our 1-2 punch from that first cannibalizing, blending, we'll say CME. All right, so you get what I'm saying there. Good, got it. Good. Moving on. Now let's read this article real quick. Let me pull up right there. While the solar wind speed remains very high, just above 900 kilometers per second, I've never ever seen it that. 600, 700, rarely 8, but never 9. So, very high, yes. The solar wind speed remains very high at 900 kilometers per second. The BZ IMF component, which we're going to be a little concerned about here, the BZ component is closer to neutral territory and has been in this state for several hours. This is suppressing, it's like subduing or suppressing the geomagnetic activity. This suppressing geomagnetic activity, which currently sits at the moderate G2 storm threshold. So we are not at G5 right now, we're at G2. Now, a severe G4 to extreme G5 geomagnetic storm watch remains in effect for the next 24 hours. Everybody understand, we have a G5 warning for the next 24 hours. And our G4 to 5 rating scale might have to increase, and we'll start addressing, qualifications. What qualifications for G6 would be? Would it be something, that goes off the charts like this, above the readings that, where we have a gradual slope up with missing data and then a gradual slope down? Okay, so stuff to consider now. We might, be going into new territory. So, a severe G4 or extreme G5 geomagnetic storm watch remains. I repeat, remains for the next 24 hours. Now, below is the nice aurora photographed. Everybody, all kinds of beautiful photos coming in. I know, I hope the aurora photographers are having an orgasm and get it over with, because it's beautiful, but it's dangerous. It's deadly. It's not like good news. I know it's pretty and it's fascinating, but that means there's radiation. That's radiation in the air. Okay? When you think of it that way, kind of look at it differently. All right. What a time to be a space follower of space weather. They're talking about you guys. Huh? Look at that. They're talking about my crowd, this audience. What a time to be you guys. Our geomagnetic field continues to feel the effects of a major CME impact. The severe G4 and extreme G5 geomagnetic storm remains in progress. Currently, the storm and wind speed above 800 right there, and they're reporting the BZ component is south, minus 22, not minus 6. Minus 22. Storming should persist today, and visible aurora could be visible for the second night in a row. Below is an image of your sky on fire. Okay, beautiful image. Coronal mass ejection was produced by X58 solar flare early Saturday morning, and as expected, the bulk of the plasma is heading to the west. A fainter Earth-directed component is still visible, and this could pass our planet within 72 hours. There was another proton increase to the moderate S2 radiation storm threshold, and this is related to the X5 event. There's our X5 event right there. We're getting, sideswiped by it, but most of it went to the west, kind of that direction. Real quick, finally, 64 just produced a 7th X flare. The latest event measured X1.5. Further details regarding the blast. Remember that one last night we reported on? Okay. 64 is the gift. Nope, we already read that. All right, let's move on. Actually, we did not open our tracker because they're tracking 7 different. There it is right there. All right, bear with me while this loads up real quick. Talk amongst yourselves. Oh, here we go. See these 2 other little spikes at it right there? So, our first impact, boom, that was our G5. This impact right there, G2, G4. Now, there's other ones out here lined up still, but at least they have this one on there now. So, I'm going to let that play without my fat hand in the way. And we'll let you guys get a good eye full of that for a second and study that yourselves, because you guys are, well, you're part of this too. So you've learned how to study these charts now. The more you come here, the more you look at it and learn and listen, you guys are becoming experts as well. You're going to be certified when you're done with this channel. You'll be certifiable, all right. All right. So, our impact right there on the cusp of the 11th, 12th, right here. That was the same time from they were reporting the first time. So I'm wondering if they're thinking this second wave is going to now hit around, because we already had one impact and we saw the auroras from it, right? So anyways, there's your thing. According to this, another big impact, well, starting right about now, according to my time frame. So we'll see. I went out and looked at the skies, didn't see much going on. And when, like I said, when we went over to the auroras, it's very quiet right now. So there's nothing going on right now. That's your current conditions right now. So there is no, geomagnetic storm going on right now. But there might be this next wave coming in here soon. So moving on now, let's get over here to spaceweather.com, cover that real quick as well. Got a couple of wavy lines here. So, where'd that one shot go? Oh, that's not it. There was a cool shot. It was, God's face in the clouds with pink on his chest, his purple face, and like blue turned into the crown. It was pretty cool. All right, let's get back to this article anyway. Waiting for the next CME. I guess we're all waiting for the next CME. A geomagnetic storm is underway, but it's a minor G1. Conditions won't intensify again until the next CME arrives. NOAA forecasters are currently predicting a return to an extreme G5 storming. See, another G5, a return to G5. So we had a G5. We're going to have another G5 storming on May 12th. Not May 11th, on May 12th. It just turned the 12th. Back here. Oh, we'll leave it alone. So, starting anytime from now, back to the article. We think May 13th is more likely when a CME from yesterday's X5.8 class flare is expected to arrive. All right, so the big one, the big X5.8 is expected to arrive on the 13th. All right, so starting from now, the 12th, we have the G5 coming in, followed up by the CME from the X5.8. All right, so bumpy ride. Everybody keep praying for each other, and keep vigil. Be situational awareness all the time. Let's get into auroras in Florida, Puerto Rico, and Mexico. Everybody heard all about that. They all traveled south, went very far south. People in my area got pictures similar to this. I'm like, I didn't see anything like that, but apparently it was happening while I was doing the show. And when I took a break, or when we had some technical difficulties, yeah, that's when it was waning and going away. So the technical difficulties may have been caused by that. Anyways, we will see. I've seen a similar event before in my life where the sky turned all red. All these little white streaks started forming in it, and then they all came closer together from left to right towards the central streak, and they all kind of pinched together closer and closer and closer to a central streak. All these little white ones formed together, made one big white streak in the sky surrounded by red, and then it went pew and disappeared, and it was all red. And we all looked at each other like, what was that? So, anyways, that's a good shot right there. Sorry, I got it. Always this pain. All right, the auroras are so beautiful. Who needed no more than this? All right, so also Um, when these events happen, people look up, right? And everybody's captivated. They're caught up, if you understand what I'm saying. They're captivated, they're awestruck, they're caught up in all these auroras. A lot of people never seen this stuff before because they never been that far north, right? So people in Florida have never seen an aurora. People in Puerto Rico and Mexico never seen one, right? So when they see stuff like this, it's well they it's so awe-inspiring that they get caught up in it. Everybody right now, the news media, everybody's caught up in the solar activity, right? We're all interested. We're all fascinated. We're all intrigued. So we're all caught up in the solar weather. We're caught up in the signs in the sun. Oh, what was the article below this? Last events on recorded auroras were seen from Puerto Rico. Nah, I don't care about that. You guys come over here. You need to come over here and visit this and read it yourself sometimes too. I know some of you do, and you don't need me reading this to you. All right, here we go. Over to our Schumann. Now, we're plugging right along. You can see there's a little bit of scraping. We're right on the verge. That boundary area is just barely nicking and partly scraping. We're still producing pretty good strong field after this. Come out of it pretty well, we got good continuity. All right. You see it get a little weak right in that zone. And now we're seeing some more scraping event. And let me just refresh because I think we're gonna maybe not, but you can see right here, right towards the end, we're starting to grind again, and that's an indication of pressure built up down below again. Oh, they're looking for a curb creeper. The Black Hawk is looking for a curb creeper. All right, so you can see this little stripe right here that cuts through it. You see how dark it gets all the way down through there? That's a little weak blast right there where the uh, the engine really slowed down for a second right there. So we were going along, having a little bit of scraping, back out of it, normal behavior, good continuity, starts to dim a little bit. And then boom, now we're scraping again, which shows me we're starting to get the pressure, built up again. And I expect we will see some good grinding coming up pretty soon when all this energy here from the KP, all this whole chunk, not from here above anymore, that whole red and yellow chunk gets absorbed down to the core. We're going to see, whoops, a good slamming of the brakes there. Hopefully we don't see a good lockup of the brakes. That would not be good. But meantime, there's your current Schumann S 7.83 going across that green line right there. All right, so layers layout. Let's get on over here to this. And oh yeah, so I got it set up on our upper jet stream again. I'll just kind of let it go there. You see we got that Pacific Northwest moisture zigzagging down and mixing with the subtropical moisture, warm air coming up off of Mexico. It's kind of arching over. You see how this flow is kind of going down the Gulf, so it's not really ripping that way anymore. It's kind of heading this more southerly. All right, but that's your upper jet. Now watch how that affects your lower jet. All right, and you see our flow up above there, which still correlates from even further up above. Let's bring you down to our storms here. And you can see this frontal boundary coming very crisp and clear, coming right down here. Okay, we have that new flow that's going this way. So it's taken this. It used to come up right here. It's pushed this flow a little further back, and we're gonna see how it's coming up. Instead of coming up through this area, it's coming up way back down here. Let me get it positioned better. And then instead of, coming straight up and looping and blending and going this way, it's coming up, turning, and coming back down. So we're going to get a different effect from that right there. But you can see our frontal boundary right through here. This is that last storm that just moved through there. It's still a monster. It's still producing a bunch of stuff out in the Atlantic. All right, so there's that. Now, I want to take you over to our sandstorm. Not our sandstorm, but the sandstorm. What the heck? Make sure this is the right date again. May 12th. Yep. Okay. I'll leave the winds on for a second here. Let me pull back a little bit so you guys can kind of see our region. All right. Big old sandstorm still going on in North Africa, blowing stuff across the Atlantic right now. We got curling winds coming back up, making a good sand wall right in there in Saudi Arabia. Okay, kind of getting a little closer now. Pulling sand from Africa across the Red Sea up into this region. Look, we got it going over the Caspian Sea. We have this sandstorm at the Gobi Desert rotating around. It's actually taking sand up here, bringing it back around. Okay, so ongoing sandstorms, multiple. This one, we got kind of right in there, here at Saudi Arabia, and then most of northern Africa, just one big sandstorm. And this has been going on since November of last year. All through the winter, we had a massive sandstorm in Africa that the media totally missed. Not missed. Let's just say failed to report. They know what's going on. They just didn't want you to know it was going on. Oh, there, I said it. I said it. They didn't want you knowing what was going on. Well, fuck them. I'm going to tell you anyway. So you're seeing what you're seeing. Okay, you can come over to this instrument, play around with this one too. Get to know these instruments, because say if I'm long gone and I can't do these reports anymore, one of you is going to have to step up. Okay, so there's our sandstorms, and then what else is I going to take you to? Oh yeah, let's get over here to our ocean temperature anomaly, and I want currents. And we hit the play button and it plays little currents or little winds, depending on which one you want. Oh, play little currents. Oh, we got, they haven't updated the data, so we go back 8 hours to the last data dump. And there's our latest data, 8 hours old, but here are your hot spots on the ocean floor, basically. Okay. Oof. All right, over here was this white hot plume. Let me, just for people that are new, there's your color code, white being the hottest. There's kind of your neutral, then cold water, hot water. Okay, so white being the hottest. You can see that these currents that I got in there, that this really hot water goes through this process right here. Look, it goes through cold water, gets cooler and cooler as it comes off of this and feeds in here. So it's not, all of this is not coming from there, is it? Okay, so we have a hot spot right there, really hot spot. Out here is Tamu Masi, the world's biggest volcano. Okay, like the planet's biggest volcano right there. That was our little glowing yellow spot. Now we have this little spot that was starting to grow out here that turned kind of bigger, but was still just faint red. Started getting darker red, turned orange. Once it turned orange, it got bigger in circumference, in size. And now we have It's bigger than Tamumasi. Look at this. This is Tamumasi right there. Whatever building out here in the Pacific Ocean is creating a lot of hot water. All right. This is vents, volcanic activity on the ocean floor, creating really hot water that's coming up to the surface, right? We have in the Pacific, especially in the Pacific, we have a lot of deep water creatures, okay, that like to dwell at the bottom. They're bottom dwellers. When it gets hot down there, it's too hot. They like cold water, so they change areas. They come up higher in the water column looking for cool water because the water at the very bottom isn't the coldest anymore, it's the hottest. So they try to escape the area or they try to go higher up in the water column. Anyways, there is your heat plume right off the Bay Area. No, right off the whole Pacific coast right here. Okay, I want to come over here to Taiwan too. Sometimes it's surrounded by yellow. Let me take the currents out of there now. Sometimes it's surrounded by yellow, okay, and right now it's just down to red. We have some cold water that's trying to inundate. That means that the water temperature is cooling off. When you see cold water trying to stretch in there and inundate the warm water, it means the warm water is cooling off, allowing this inundation. All right, so that's an indication that pressure in that region right there is being relieved. Okay, it's not building up and turning yellow like this spot right here. Okay, it used to be like this around this island. Now that we have the fulcrum point here, where we're experiencing earthquakes, there is venting the pressure from down below. It's our small little relief valve. It's our pinhole in the balloon that's allowing a little bit of air or pressure to escape on a certain scale, on a small scale, medium scale, large scale. Well, it just happens to be enough to kind of keep the pressure from building right here at this fulcrum point. But outside that fulcrum point, over in this region, we have that hot water. And we see this, look at this ribbon going up all through that area now. Also, out here, this is the region where we see our volcano, earthquake activity. This is our relief valve, right? Look how cold the water is off the shore of the relief valve because it's relieving all the pressure. See, no pressure built up here. Maybe a little bit on the other side in this this is all kind of enclosed by the islands and stuff, so its own little kind of pocket of water. But on the other side of these islands, you can see it's a different kind of coastal front. And we have cold water right next to Java that spews the most SO2. Okay. In fact, let's just leave that sitting right there and do this. See, that's the beauty of this thing. You can leave it sitting right there and switch it over to the gas. Now you see all the gas is coming out there. It's relieving all the pressure. Over here we have Taiwan. Okay, it's emitting gas as well. See that? Relieving the pressure in the region. China's got bad gas. All right. A lot of pressure being built up. You can see how dark these colors are. We got a couple of black spots. That's a massive black spot right there. Okay. It went from black into ultra black. See that? So it went purple to black and then ultra black. So a lot of SO2. Here's another spot over here. Look at this. A lot of SO2. This is probably a big pinhole right there in the balloon, if you think of it that way. All right, we can use that as an analogy, kind of as a to reference. All right, so you see, China has a lot of pressure built up. We come down here to Java. their pressure going pretty good too. Look at these two volcanoes just spewing a bunch of SO2 right here. All right, so there's our pressure. Let's come on over here real quick. Adjust back to our time. Did it? There we go. That's current right now. So, as you can see, we got a nation divided here. One side just bleeding out, the other side kind of patchy. Now, as we go into here, you see how dark it, I'm just going to use my arrow. You see how dark it is right around here? But it's not so dark in this band right there because of the floods. Flood water has like covered the ground, not allowing this gas to escape. Okay, so when you see what used to be all dark burgundy on this side and you see it clearing out like this a little bit, well, look, that's all flooded. That's all flooded. It's not allowing the gas to seep out of the ground. All right, this is all SO2 that comes out of the ground, surrounds the magma down below. It gets pushed up to the underside of the crust and gets pushed out through the little pinholes in the balloon. And also an indicator, the darker that is, the more pressure we have down below. Okay. So pressure is building, and we have all this KP index still to absorb. What we're looking at is the darkening. As these darken over the next couple of days, that will be the indicator. The energy is being absorbed from the KP index, and we're starting to see the pressure correlation. You'll see the correlation. You'll just see this stuff start getting darker and darker, and other regions popping up out of nowhere. So there's your SO2. I want to put it back. I want to put it back on this one and leave it there. Do we go? All right, that's the one right there. Okay. Our latest readings. And just by the way, look off the coast of America. All right. That's the one right there. That's just nuts right there. Oh, my mail. Thank you. Thank you, officer. These guys. All right. Back to business. Hotspot. Some going on down here on the southern hemisphere as well. This was a big rash. It seems to kind of depleted a little bit, but look at all these little speckled little spots down here. Underwater volcanic activity. There's more surface area of the planet is on the ocean floor than is above the ocean floor. So if we're seeing a bunch of volcanic activity at the surface, imagine how much is down below the water. Well, this is kind of like your underwater volcano report. Okay, your underwater volcano report. Can't really pinpoint anything and tell you magnitudes, blast heights, or anything like that, but just by the temperature difference anomalies, I think you can see what's going on. That's why I gave you judgment and discernment, so you can see stuff like this and go, looks like we have an issue going on out here, over here, all through there. So I'm going to leave that like this, right in this region. And then we'll go over to our earthquake report. Okay. Thanks for hanging in there, you guys. You're doing well. Most people can't pay attention to anything longer than an hour. They start to yawn and get bored and move on to other stuff. So let's keep you caught up in the show. Ooh, there you go. if you're watching this show right now and you're fascinated by this earthquake report, you're caught up in my show. Here we go. 5.0 at the surface. We all know that's energy being relieved at the surface. Here's a 5.4 down at 44. See, this isn't right on the boundary. It's on a little mountain ridge right there. This inside mountain ridge had a 4.9 down at 424. Call it a 5. 4.6 down at 123. Okay, so these two little bands kind of coming together, pointing right there. Look, pressure's coming in, and it's throwing a pitch right into the pitcher's mitt. Here comes the ball right now. Ball's coming in. All right, nothing down that way. Now, lately, the whole system was quiet until we had, a little here, a little there, something, but not like our typical activity until we started having this little spot right here where we had a decent sized quake and a little quake swarm after it. And same location again here. A 5.2 down at 27. A good reminder of our possible weak spot for the big one, because the big one is coming. All right. And maybe now is when I should address that. Let's just finish this up real quick. 4.3 down at 150. Okay. Up here at our fulcrum point, it's working. It's relieving pressure. Nothing too big. We're talking moderate quakes. 4.8 down at 29. 4.2 down at 38. It might rattle some dishes and knock a few things over, but its energy needs to be released. I wouldn't be too upset seeing, mid-range 5 energy. Anything after that kind of does a little more damage, but up to a mid-range 5 energy is fine, just relieving energy. And you can see it relieving energy at our fulcrum point right there. And we come, there's your fulcrum point, okay? And it was, like I said, a couple weeks ago, we had, a lot of yellow and orange around the island until we had our big quake and our flurries that relieved the pressure in the area. It put a new pinhole for pressure to release. It's another relief valve, okay? Another spot for potential big quake, because there's a big one coming, all right? And now I'm kind of, as we're going through the earthquake report, I'm not really any longer looking for the quakes and reporting on them. I'm now looking for where the big one's going to hit. 4.9 down at 62. 2.6, 2.6, 2.6. Coco's plate, 4.2, 4.2, and a 4.7. That one's down at 154, a little deeper. Up here, a little rare quake. Not always getting them up here in Colombia, but 4.6, that's relieving energy at the surface there. Our typical energy in there. Let's come on over to Europe here. Okay, nothing on this whole region right here along this island. The whole band is quiet. Our fulcrum point up here, very quiet. All right, we had a little fulcrum point quake over here, 4.1. Usually we have 2 in this region. Nope, just the 1. Now, some energy over here. Look at this region right here. This is, not your average, not your regular quakes. These are diverse quakes. 4.8 right here in Iran. That's energy at the surface right there. 4.4 at the surface there. Coming on over here to the Caspian Sea, we got 5.1 here in Azerbaijan. I thought I saw another one under that. There was 2 quakes there before. 5.1. That's, what was the depth again? Help me, Lord. 61, okay. So, not at the surface, but a potential spot right there, maybe. Something's waking up in that region, especially when we have pressure building. We don't have anything firing off a lot of energy. This is what I want to point out. When we look at this map, for an average day, that's quiet right there. Okay, too quiet, way, way too quiet for all of this. I want to see more mid-range, even sixes, some sevens pop off, because if we don't, look how quiet it is in this region right here. Okay, when we don't see energy being relieved, it builds up, right? So you look for your quiet zones, right? Pay attention to Dutch sense. He's making sense. When you see a quiet zone, that means nothing's being released in that area, and watch out. So, did we cover everybody else? We're all done with quakes, and I can talk about this now. Okay, good. So let's get into this region right here, because I have a feeling our big quake's going to happen in this region. All right. It could, be up here to Fulcrum Point, over here in Alaska, anywhere we see our latest weak activity or new venting spot. Okay. So Taiwan, new venting spot, right? Whoops, right there. Sorry. New venting spot. It's on Fulcrum Point. It's 2 plate boundaries. Prime candidate for our big quake. Where'd it go? This right here. This new little spot that had a pretty good sized quake and continues to have, release energy right here. Prime area for a big quake. Even the deep area right here, we could possibly see, before the big quake, we could possibly see a deep quake from down below first, like our typical activity, instead of a typical 4.5 producing 5s at the surface. We'll see a 7 or an 8 that'll produce a 9 or possibly 10 at the surface. Okay. And we're going to see, if we don't have more pressure release, we're going to be reaching magnitudes like that, all right? I know it's scary when I said 9 and then I said the number 10. And you're like, okay, Brian's lost it. What number's above that line right there? 10, okay? And it's off the charts. Well, you would see earthquake response that's off the charts. Something bigger than we've ever recorded. The biggest ever recorded was what, 9.6? Might see a 10. And to tell you the truth, it's going to be hard to pick out where the big one would hit, per se. But we could get a rapid fire successions of, a 7 here, an 8 there, a 7 over here, backed up by an 8 over there. Or, it could be something really wild, or it could just be one big one. But right now, as I'm looking at this map, that is way short of where we need to be. Way short of where we need to be. Also, I want you guys to, when we're over here, Japan. Got a lot of pressure in that region, known for a 9.3. This is relieving pressure in the area, but also indicator of a weak spot. So, pressure builds up, looks for the path of least resistance. Watch out Japan. Watch out Japan. Watch out Taiwan. Watch out Philippines. What was that? Vanuatu down here. Okay. Now, when we have something like that happen, is that who I think it is? Kind of. When we have an event like that happen, tsunamis, right? All right. If we had let's pick a spot and just kind of go with it. Say we have a 9 to a 10 around Taiwan here at fracture zone. Boom. It's going to send out a tsunami. It's going to cover the entire Pacific Ocean. Let me pull back like that. See this whole C shape? It's just going to emanate from there and go all the way across the Pacific Ocean. Every shoreline would get hit on this side. Every shoreline over there would get hit. What I'm trying to say here subtly is I'd start backing away from the coasts right now. If I were you, I wouldn't roll the dice. It's look, see this? And do you see this? Back to where it was. Oh, right here. Okay, so I'd start preparing for, possible tsunami that could, hit the entire Pacific Rim, possibly. I mean, we'd be really lucky if, say, it struck in a tight little pocket, like right in here, where it kept all the waves bouncing around in this archipelago, reverberating back and forth, diffusing all that energy, zigzagging, boing, 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 before it could make it outside of this ring. Because once you get into open water and there's nothing to disrupt or divert, energy, the energy wave, like an island, it's going to split it in two. You're going to have eddies and curls, and it's going to have all sorts of bouncing reflexes, but it's going to dissipate any energy that would go across or anything like that, right? So, so I hate to be the bearer of bad news. I'd rather be the bearer of good news. I like to do that part here at the channel, and I hate these little blue things when they happen. Thank you. We have had several X flares in a row. This is our first impact. We're going to have multiple impacts, okay? Multiple wave after wave after wave after wave of energy being absorbed into the planet. We have ongoing G2. We're not at G5, but we will have another G5 while having a proton storm. Okay? Add all that on top of the energy. Boom, 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 boom. I have 4 more of these maybe to go. And when I start talking about a 9 to a 10, I'm trying to be conservative. Okay? Because if I say numbers that are, well, any higher than that, you would probably not believe me and tune out. So we're going to keep it within the range of, conception, because I'm not trying to predict a big quake. All right. I am trying to warn you there is not enough energy coming out right now. We have all of this that just came in. Things are too quiet. It means it's going to build up. If we don't have, we might, like I said, rapid fire mega quakes or one just huge one. We'll see. Very, very concerning how quiet this is. And all these different spots now that are kind of coming to life could be possibilities. All right. Back here, it's good to look at the Schumann here too. I'll try to put this link in the description, or put it out there again in the community or something like that, so you can come over. Because once you see some big spikes starting to grow on this, a big white, scraping event, that'll be the indication that the energy has been absorbed down to the core now. All right, it's reached the core. Once we see that white, it's reached the core. Then after that, it's game on. We will start seeing the pressure increase down below and rise to the surface. Probably within a matter of, it depends on how quick the the increase down below is. Say you jump from 20 to 30 degrees over the course of an hour, that would be, that would be a dramatic increase. But say it jumped from 20 to 2,000 degrees in the matter of 5 minutes, now we're talking, big, big sudden jolt from down below. So, everybody hold on. Let's pray that the planet diffuses this energy in a fashion that is medium, not withheld, and then a big release. I would rather see it, a bunch of medium ones over the course of time, what I'm saying, instead of one big event. But at the rate we're going, it doesn't seem like much is happening yet. I want to get over here to the volcano report now, too, because this is our pressure, too, as well. It seems to be favoring volcanic blasts more so than our earthquakes. Sometimes we get a magnetic grip that seems to squeeze down on the planet, and it subdues the quakes and literally squeezes the shit out through the volcanoes instead. Like squeezing a tomato and with a couple of holes already in the skin, and all the guts come out those holes instead. All right. We're already here into the 12th. All right. So this is a little activity already happening. We have Semeru, 15,000 foot. All right. That's its high peak blast so far, and it's running at maximum. Popocatépetl, 19,000 feet. I've seen it higher, so watch it increase. All right, these are baseline numbers to work with now, too. Watch some of these altitudes increase, all right? And, as we report average, 10,000s to 20,000s, we might see blasts 40, 60, 80,000, okay, coming. Meantime, baseline, still its maximum, 15. Take note, Semeru, 15. Let's see if it breaks its record or if it just keeps pumping out a bunch there. Popocatépetl, I've seen it higher, but 19, watch it go to like 24. We'll see. It could go even higher, but I'm just trying to let you know. Fuego, 16,000. It'll probably jump in altitude. Nevada del Ruiz, we'll see one out of that. Reventador, all of these that say no BS or no VA, we'll probably have a healthy report. 24,000 feet, something like that, out of Sabancaya, for instance. All right, Sabancaya, 24,000. Let's get into what was the 11th. What was yesterday now... What was today is now yesterday. There we go. All right. I glitched out with the computer, didn't I? Ibu, 20,000 feet. That's a very big for this little guy. It's always like 7 or 8, and now it's pumping 20,000. Okay, good indicator right there. Yeah. Due to the heightened activity over the past month, PVMG raised the volcano alert level to level 2. Okay, so now Ibu, everybody taking notice of Ibu. We just had a 20,000 foot blast out of that thing. Luatobi, 6,000 feet. Okay, that's a lower level, right? 6,000, not very tall compared to what we're used to reading. A good baseline to start with. So, in the coming week, let's see what Luatobi's height is by the end of the week. We could do that. We could do like a baseline setting right now before the pressure builds, and then we'll come back a week from today and we'll compare heights. Semeru, 15. Ducono, 8,000. Okay. Santa Guido, nothing. 17,000 out of Fuego. Nevada del Ruiz, 19. That's the same. Reventador, 14. Sabancaya, 28. There's a getting up there. 28,000. Okay. So right now we're not seeing, the big blast from pressure yet. This is our average running pressure that we've seen lately. Okay. Now, take note of these heights on these ones. And like I said, when we come back a week later, if we're here a week later, if the channel's here, if we're still able to report, if a volcano, hopefully this thing doesn't go off. Because if that had a big, huge eruption under the water, that would send a huge tsunami around the coastlines. Okay, time to start backing away from the coastline. All of them. Because, a 10, producing a tsunami worldwide that goes all the way around the world, comes all the way back. It'll make sure it hits every shoreline. So any kind of bay or cove, fucking inlets, pardon my French, but that just popped out. I'm trying to stop cussing. I think that was for a reason. Yeah. Oh boy, water inundation. I'm going to pull up that water inundation map and we'll start addressing places to maybe consider evacuating. In the meantime, we're gonna deal with some pressure. Okay, the pressure's on, and back to back X flares. Oh, it's gonna. Guess what? You just got drafted into Vietnam War or whatever. You're in combat now. All right. If you didn't think you were in spiritual warfare or in combat, you are now. All right. There's the model run. Let it load up real quick. Ow. I'm not even old and my body's shattered. Ugh. Okay, coming around to the beginning. There's opening frame, right? Okay, current conditionings, opening frame, 11 on May 11th, 11/11. You guys see 11/11 a lot? I bet you everybody at this channel sees 11/11 and all kinds of triple numbered codes and stuff like that. Would you like to know what 11/11 is? Why you guys see 11/11? 11/11, if you kind of took out the zeros and the May and the PM, just the 11 with another 11 next to it, each is 4 ones all put together, right? 4 individual ones is 11/11. 11/11 is 4 in 1, right? 4 ones in one date would be 4 in 1. So 11/11 is 4 in 1. That's the Father, the Son, the Holy Spirit, and you. Yeah, you. You're the other one in the 11/11. Moving on. Here's your current conditions. Let's go. The morning of the 12th, we got energy building up in here. We have spheroid activity that's controlling our weather. So when this blossoms here, watch for that kind of activity. And whatever direction that little spheroid's moving, you can tell where your storm's going, when it's going to blossom. Sometimes one spheroid will be dragging this moisture and another one coming this way, and you can tell they're going to collide. The trajectories of the one is coming this way. When that one's coming this way, they're going to collide and bond, bond right here, say. Okay, then you can forecast, even though there's no clouds right there. You see this move in this direction, that one move in that direction. You integrate where the intersection would be, and you would be like, oh, right here, this is the spot I would watch out for. And everybody goes, no, there's no clouds there. But when this collides with this, at the intersection, there's going to be a big accident there, right? At the intersection, when the train collides with the car that's sitting on the tracks. God, I still have that nightmare. We'll talk about that one, too. Unbelievable. Okay, I am off tangent tonight, aren't I? Noon, convection right here, plus added energy from the sun. Oh, let's... Morning time, we have moisture in the air. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, because we have G5 storm, not just a CME coming in. So you could take that and magnify it. Okay, so this whole area will probably by this time tomorrow, which is 11 Pacific, but noontime, 1 o'clock out there, will probably start blossoming pretty hard. Here's convection. Tomorrow's convection will be probably much uglier than this. I pray I'm wrong. I pray that it suppresses this. But I also see other contributing factors to the weather now. Our spheres. Some of you are like, what are you talking about? I will get into that as well. But you can see our selected targets for the moment, okay? I would take the whole green blob and turn it yellow. Don't just look at this spot. Don't just look at that spot. Everybody in this whole area by convection tomorrow, be on alert. You got a G5 enhancement, not a solar flare. You have a G5 geomagnetic storm enhancement. It's going to turn that thing into a freaking hurricane. I pray I'm wrong. Now, nighttime of the 12th, this is still our G5, all right? The G5 thing is just going to last. So I think anything that we're seeing here, just add enhancement to it for a minute. So backing up, morning might already be kind of brewing. Definitely moisture in the air, all right? Here, definitely moisture in the air there. Oh, no. Where's the top of that thing? Go all the way back. My bad. Can't touch the screen on that one. All right, back to business. So, right about here, morning time of the 12th, we're starting off with moisture in this region, moisture in that region, moisture in here, okay? That moist air is just ready to be zapped with electricity, and boom, it's going to fire up and start blossoming. Tomorrow could be a little different from what they're predicting. Here's your convection. Nighttime, I bet it'll blossom. We'll have a nocturnal event. Already showing possibilities for nocturnal activity in Kansas, down in Louisiana, Mississippi, those areas. We might even have a QLCS by this time tomorrow, right along that front right there. See how it boom, boom comes together. All right, that'll be the morning of the 13th, still a little bit of residual there. Noontime the 13th, convection. Again, we might not be full G5, but any kind of convection will be enhanced, okay, even into the 13th. Look, 13th, G3. Oh, gee, it's only a 3. G3. So G3 energy, you know, the red box right there, G3, add that to that, and you're going to be having a much bigger area, possibly shifted to a different spot, but convection in that vicinity on the 13th, going nocturnal again. There's the morning of the 14th. See this severe band right in there? If they're calling for severe on this without the added energy, add some energy to that and to that. That'll be the noontime the 14th. Convection the 14th. Nighttime the 14th. Morning of the 15th. Noon. Convection. Nighttime. That. Boom, boom, boom. All right. Nighttime of the 15th, morning of the 16th, noon, convection, nighttime. A lot of nocturnal activity again. Here we go. Morning of the 17th, noon, convection, nighttime. Down in this region. See, can you see this big comma storm right here forming? This rotation up here is, as it rotates like this, it starts to pull air from outside. This is like the inflow of the tornado coming in like that. So your inflow starts to lift, and we have severe weather there. Nighttime of the 17th, Morning of the 18th, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 19th, noon, convection, nighttime. 20th, noon, convection, nighttime. 21st, noon, convection, nighttime. Oh, wow. All right, from that point, you see this air mass coming together right here, making this little point. Low pressure, and then wham. That's a nocturnal event on May 21st, right in the heart of the country, right there. I'd be watching out at that point right there. You see how this low has curled and dug in and driving up like that, even at convection here on May 21st, it's showing little pop-ups. I think it'll be well underway right there. And then you will have that at nighttime, residual in the morning, still carrying over into the noon of the 22nd, convection, tail coming up like that. There's your nighttime convection there in Texas. Look at this low up here with its tail dripping down the Rockies. We got convection, severe weather up here, Canadian border, Montana, up in Canada. Nighttime convection up there. You see that? Boom. Moisture made it clear up to Canada and turned into a thunderstorm. There's the morning of 23rd, noon, convection. See this rotating over that? Watch this. Morning of the 23rd, noon, convection, nighttime. Morning of the 24th, noon, convection, nighttime. 25th, noon, convection, nighttime. Whoa, that's way out there, but that could be ugly there. Morning of the 26th, noon, convection, nighttime, and that's about it. All right, so I'm really just kind of concerned about these next couple of days here. The rest of that forecast is too far out now. Stuff changes. This event tomorrow, right there, that's your convection by tomorrow. And if we're having a G5 tomorrow, that'll be enhanced. That might be enhanced. That might be enhanced. And that might be enhanced. Okay? Those three frames. So everybody from Texas, let's put it right in the middle. All right, that patch right there, okay? And no telling, it could be somewhere else too. And it's not just the weather here in America. It could affect the weather worldwide. So if you're in a different country, I would watch your weather tomorrow during the G5 storm. If you're having thunderstorms or predicted to have thunderstorms in your region that day while you're having a G5, I would take extra precautions as far as just being aware, okay? And prepared, umbrella, park the car in the garage instead of out in the open and save yourself 1,000 dents, broken glass, whatever. Okay, there's your weather forecast. Sorry, I had to kind of go into a little bit there, but it's important these next 24 hours when we have that storm coming in, G5. So starting now, dangerous after the morning moisture buildup. You get your morning moisture buildup. There's your noontime. Already be convecting with severe weather. Convection, we're talking Louisiana, possibly Kansas, this whole region right there. Tomorrow night, that whole region as well. Then we go into the 13th. There's your convection of the 13th. So day after tomorrow, your afternoon convection, watch out in Texas, Louisiana again. So Louisiana got hit right there. So Louisiana again. That's the convection of the 13th nighttime event in Louisiana again. So 3 times they get hit there. Oh, did I count too many times? 1, 2. Yeah, okay. Now, back here, this will be nighttime of the 13th in Louisiana. Then here, the morning of the 14th. It's colder in the morning because the sun it's been down all night, right? So just as the sun coming up in the morning, it's going to be hitting this moist air here, and we're going to have some convection going on, severe convection in the morning down here on the Gulf Coast right there, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. Morning hours of the 14th, noon. There's convection the 14th, and the nighttime. All right, so anything after that, I'm not too concerned about. We'll get there when we get there. It's just these first little frames right here. Those two events right there that concern me. Watch out for increased activity, increased activity, increased activity. Right there too. That'll be the morning of the 14th. Even running the coastline there by the convection of the 14th. And then finally kind of cleared the coast by the nighttime. All right, so that's that. Now, let's get over to the part you've all been waiting for, this thing. Where to go? This is Ventu Sky, and I think somebody in the chat was asking about the link to this one. Where'd my chat go? Oh, you guys are there. I thought maybe you disappeared or fell asleep. You know, there's no sleeping in class. I'll send you to the office. By Jove, what do we got here? Three frames, but it is 3 frames. You see it starting there, grow in size, even bigger. That's the last frame of data that we had right there because nothing afterwards. But let's stop right there. There's our best frame, right? That's at May 9th, 2024 at 2 p.m. This is a 4th event now, okay? A 4th event. This shape is different, okay? It's more, let me pull back. It's more like straight up and down, but if you stretch this over a ball, it would be kind of circular in shape. All right. This event only lasted like 3 hours. Okay. So it was a smaller event, shorter duration, same region. All right. See, there's the bottom of South Africa, our same region again, whether it's the island, whatever. I believe this possibly be a water bulge. I'm going to tell you why, because I want you to draw a picture in your mind. Out here, 18-foot waves. As we get here, 19, 20 feet. So it's getting higher. Here's 24 feet. It's not the waves that are that high. It's the ocean keeps getting higher and higher. Here we're at 37 feet. Whoops. As we get into these darker zones, we're 37 feet, 38 feet. All of a sudden, we're getting 45 feet. So it's increasing in height and then decreasing in height. It's arched like this. It also increases in height and decreases in height here. We have a sharp edge on the background, but it does have a increase, decrease. Let me pull. Whoa. Come back here, you. Didn't mean to go in that tight. What, we go around the world or something? Now, try to be as gentle with this as we can. Now, this backside looks like it's straight, right? Like it just has a straight edge on it, but it doesn't. There's 55, 54, 53, 52, 51, 40, 35, 30, 20s. It reduces in height right there and descends back down to a uniformed level or in the surrounding water. So if this is all level and this whole round structure is increasing in height with the maximum in the middle and then decreasing as it goes away, that means it's a dome or a ridge or a bulge. Now, what I want to do is I'm going to take you over here. Where did that go? Oh, there it is. Yeah, I think we're going to get it here. All right, so here's a report on the last one, right? We're talking blah, blah, blah. That was our second one. All right, so take you right there, go full frame. Hopefully I'm not blinding the camera here. And then I think it should be just right without wavy lines. And let's see if you can notice this dome, this bulge in the water. And it says just before the eclipse, this bulge rose from Lake Erie. Lake Erie is a body of water. So there was a bulge in the water. That's a water bulge. Now, can you guys see it at all? Somebody in the chat, let me know if the camera's capturing this at all, if you guys can see this or not. Oh, wait, kind of capturing it, I think. Starting to see it a little bit on the camera here. Okay, somewhere right around. Trying to get rid of the wavy lines because it's very faint and kind of hard to see, but it is detectable. There's a bulge there. Even this lady is kind of gasping, holding her mouth, going, "What's that? Is that Godzilla running underneath the water? What's this bulge here in the water?" Okay, and this was just before the eclipse. All right, there was an object traveling along with the moon, gravitational or whatever, lifted the water and created a water bulge. This is a smaller one, but way out here, this, you got to think perspective. All right, she's close by here on the shore. This is way out there in the water. All right, so the further away it is, the smaller it's going to look. So if it looks this big and it's that far away, it must be pretty considerable size if it's noticeable from this far away. So this water bulge, from here to the top of that bulge, it doesn't look like much from this far away, but it could be 50 feet. It could be, even upwards of 60 to 70 feet high at the very top of the bulge, at the very apex, compared to the resting water around. It's not waves, it's just higher than the rest of the water. It's not, come back here now. It's not waves, it's just higher than the rest of the water. Okay? Now, a passing celestial body, its gravitation would do such an effect and lift the water up, much like our moon controls the tides. Its gravity pulls water on one side of the planet. Where's a planet? Let me do this. Come here. All right, backing out. So, moon's over here, say. It pulls water this way, squeezes the water down this way, creates a bulge on this side and a bulge on this side because the moon's over here. All right, its gravitation is pulling water this way. It squeezes down, and we get a corresponding sticking up on the other side. Even though it's not the gravity, it's because it's compressed the water like that. All right, so as the moon goes, our tides go. The gravitational effect of a celestial body lifts the water to a higher level. It's called the moon. It's called the tides. It's a real effect that we experience every day. So when we come back over to this, we look at all the surface surrounding water. At this point, look, at this point in time, somewhere on the earth is high tide and low tide, right? You would expect to see a higher spot right here and a lower spot over there then, right? But the computer program is adjusted for the tides at the time, okay? It won't show you where high and low tide is, but anything outside of the pre-programmed low and high tide compensation would stick out like that. Now, Who's to say that this is a celestial body that's way out there, outside the atmosphere of our planet, when we just captured, this the other day. Let me just pull this up real quick on my channel here. All right. New discovery. Guys, we're here to witness it. Some of you were. Go to this one. Okay. Captured here is a round spherical object that is, as it moves through the air, it disturbs the air goes up over it, it does the silhouette effect, causing the storm. Let me back up a little bit. I think we start catching it right about there. I'm going to go ahead and put the sound back on and let you listen to this and watch this for a second. I gotta take a power nap. I got stuff to do here in a few hours, so. All right, but I'll sacrifice a little bit of sleep to capture what happens. All right, let's back up a little bit here. Going right over Jacksonville. Hey, you folks in Jacksonville, go outside and look up. Okay, you can see round spherical object right here. As it moves through the air goes over it, condenses when it's up higher, creates rain. All right, okay, the air coming around the edges over the top from underneath create a vortex on the backside that creates this ribbon of air. Flow asymmetries off the sun. Look at the magnetic wave lines go across there. Oh, right. Yeah, there was a couple right up in there. Okay, this thing is moving. This isn't our radar site for, like awesome. You guys are seeing on your NextRad radar. This is a round spheroid shape that's moving through the air. Right? It's within the atmosphere because it's affecting the weather. It's using some kind of stop looking for the other small. It's using some kind of here. Let me freeze frame it around. So, yeah. Right here. All right, you can see the edge of it. You can see how it's inducing weather down at the lower part. As air comes over, it lifts up. It gets colder. It starts to not convect, but it starts to convect up here. You can see the top of the ball. Right, this would be the circle, but the top of the ball is right here. You can see how air flows over it. As it gets up higher, it condenses, and then as it goes over the top, it drops down the backside and gets warmer. And notice how it's not raining. It's only raining, and weather's only being produced around this. It's a spheroid object ripping through the air, and its motion moving through the air is inducing the weather around it. You can see the air flows, the asymmetries create the tail. I go into detail how this tail is folding and whipping over itself. So let this play for a second, and then this perfect display. This is like a textbook display here. All right, so we have other players in the weather. This might be what the main player in our weather really is the whole time. This is a huge discovery. Whatever this is, whatever's going on here is huge. Should get the Nobel Prize for physics or what? Never mind. Somebody else will take credit for it, I'm sure. Anyways, you see what's going on here. Now, the point I'm trying to address here is our anomaly over here. I think you know where I'm going with this. Not necessarily a celestial planetoid outside of our atmosphere, but more like a spheroid object hovering over the water using its electromagnetic field, which is inducing weather here to also lift water as well. Now, if it were celestial bodies, say, orbiting we would see a different spot every time. How come it's always in the same spot? Well, is that the last frame right there? Well, if it keeps picking the same spot, maybe because it's under control. Play that thing. Come on. It's hesitation here. And look how air scatters over the top of it. Give me the whole screen. Wow. And earlier in the video, when I first started recording this, there was actually a smaller one out in front of the bigger one. We'll watch this effect first. Go back around. This is currently live over Florida right now. You'll see a little push, a little nudge. All right, let me help. Let me slow down here. See that skip? That's not a skip in data. Try and get this centered. All right, that storm right moved suddenly like that. See the bulge in the front of that storm front? Our sphere is right there, and you can see stuff blossoming off the top of it at the very end there, okay? Now, back up behind here is a bigger sphere, and you can see stuff coming off of this first one going into a bigger one back behind. Now, when we have this plasma effect where it peels away from the sun and has the teardrop effect, there's the tail growing right there. So give it a second. There's a smaller diameter one down here. The bigger one comes from behind and nudges it forward. Just let your eyes kind of watch this motion here. And I'm trying to capture it for the record there while it's still live. And you can see the tail blossoming right behind it. It's the spaghettification effect. There's a smaller sphere pushing down here, and then a bigger diameter one back behind it. All right, let me try to capture this again. All right, and when the bigger one comes up behind the smaller one, it pushes it forward. You see the flow asymmetries? I'm going to mute that. You can see stuff blossoming off the top of this smaller sphere that's pushing this whole front. Watch the nudge. See the nudge? Then it gives you where the smaller sphere is. You can see this stuff blossoming off the top of it. See how that push, that nudge right there? That wasn't a skip in data. Those were all the frames. The actual storm jumped like that because it's being controlled by that spheroid object. Let me get closer in here. Now, right there at the end, you can see the top of the sphere right in there. It's all like the weather's erupting around the edges of it. And I think you saw much better the bigger one after this event kind of stops. That one moves out. But you can see the bigger one came back, nudged a smaller diameter one that's right there. Sorry about that. Let's go in a little bit deeper here. Where to go? Play that part. All right, hopefully you're seeing the flow asymmetries that we're looking at flowing over a spheroid. You can see that spheroid moving through the atmosphere, disrupting the air. The air flows over it, condenses over the top of it. All right. Then towards the end here was the secondary, the bigger one in the back as it's clearing out right there. All right, so we have spheroid shape objects above our planet. They're interacting with the air, creating weather. It looked like they're interacting with the sun, creating CMEs. Look like they're look like they're here. Something's going on. You see that round spheroid effect, and if that thing has mass or an electromagnetic field, either one could induce the water to lift up off of the regular surface up to a higher height than the surrounding water, creating what would be like a water bulge or a bulge in the water like that right there. Okay, I think that's what we're seeing. What else would explain it? I don't see anybody else with explanations to explain this stuff. It's really simple stuff. It makes sense. So there is your water bulge, the one that happened on Lake Erie that I was trying to find. Happened the day of the eclipse, just hours before the eclipse. So it wasn't the moon that did this. The moon never creates a water bulge when it passes over Lake Erie. So something else was accompanying the moon and made a water bulge, right? All right, so there's that. Let me close out some of these instruments here. We'll get rid of this. If we can. And that. And that. And that. And let me close out some of these instruments. And we'll leave that one. We'll leave that one there. We did water bulge. Oh, yeah. No, not right there. On this channel. Just opening up my channel. Y'all know that while we're doing transition here from the solar report to the spiritual report, good time to go to the bathroom, take a break, smoke a cigarette, whatever you do to while I'm set up for the next part here. All right. Let me pull up a... Where was I going? Oh. We need a bookmark instead. Okay, pull up a couple images here. I think you all know that this was captured out by the sun, or out by the moon, right? It's not in the clouds, it's not the moon lighting up clouds. It's an object that's out by the moon. Let's just go medium screen here without that, can we? Theater mode, thank you. Theater mode, no thanks, not right now, mister. All right, cool. We got that one pulled up. I got a couple other ones to pull up here. That one right there. Okay, oops. Let's go a little bit further in that one. There we go. All right. There's that image. We got those. Oh, and this one. Hang on. We're almost done. Just pull up one more real quick. Thank you all for your patience and tolerance and acceptance. And I know somebody who just did their step 5 and confessed their stuff and had the relief. The backpack of rocks came off today, and they were amazed at how it worked. how stupid it sounded to just, what? I'm supposed to confess all my stuff to someone else. How does that work? How's that going to help? But they tried it and they found the relief. They actually were surprised. I'm so happy for them. I am so happy for you. You know who you are. I know you're here right now listening too. Congratulations. Where was I going? Oh, yeah. Now you just keep moving on in your step work. Actually, your step work is every day. Once you learn the concepts of them, you just practice those. That's every day. It's a way of living. So once you understand and you kind of get your step work, get the steps done, you end up kind of just doing them every day anyway. It's just a way of living. That's what I'm trying to show you. All right, so there's that image. Very important. Happened on Easter. That's your anchor. That's your foundation right there. That cost me dearly. It was excruciatingly painful taking all these pictures. Okay, so we have that one, and we have that. No, that goes right there. Okay, so yeah, now we're getting ready. So almost ready here. Get that thing out of there. So let's pick up kind of where we left off with this water bulge, right? This bulge happened right before the eclipse. The moon did not, it's not the moon's gravity that caused this. It's something that's accompanying the moon. It's something that's accompanying the moon. Wait a second. I see something accompanying the moon. Yeah. All right. I didn't have a bunch pulled out to read tonight, but we're just going to knock out some notes anyway. I know some of you need some relief, so let's just do it. Looking at that, you're looking at me. Here's my face in the clouds. You see, this is Jesus in the clouds over here. He's pulling open his heart, and his love is radiating out, and this love is making my face in the clouds. Okay, so there's my face in the clouds with a crown on it, and the crown's kind of hard to see. It's an ethereal a little bit. Maybe we'll play this. Yeah, let's play that real quick. Because this is an important video. It's a very important piece of the puzzle here. So you guys can kind of grasp what's going on. Actually, that's too far in. Let's keep it at theater mode right there. All right, I'm going to put that on real quick. Let you guys listen to this for a second. Howdy, folks. Welcome back. So, snapping some pictures of the clouds yesterday, and I noticed something forming in the clouds. What looked like a face over here. And I'm going to start zooming in on this face because it's a real face. And if you look back behind it here, let's zoom in just a little bit. You'll notice that back behind here, this face is being projected by Jesus's heart right here. You can see it radiating out. Here's Jesus's face. He's pulling open his shirt, exposing his heart. His heart's radiating out this image. It's a real miracle. See his face here? And there's a crown right here. Also in the ethereal, in black, there's another crown right here. Anyways, I just wanted to show you this picture. Isn't this amazing? And this face, I know who this face is. I see him every morning in the mirror. That's not all. I got another one. And a few moments later, in this image, I took a picture of the same cloud, but this is at a different angle. I rotated it 90 degrees. I want you to look right up in here. You can see that there's a face, 2 eyes, smile, here's the head, and the arms are outstretched, and he's holding a cell phone taking pictures of the sky. This is an image of me taking the pictures of the clouds. So the clouds are now mimicking me taking pictures of them. That's me in the clouds right there. Pretty crazy. Tilt your head to the right a little bit and you can see it a lot clearer. And just to kind of go in on these eyes, because they're there in the face. That's what my eyes must look like when I'm looking up at this stuff in amazement, just going, wow, no way. And then we'll pull back and you'll see that that's part of this face who's holding out a cell phone taking pictures. That's me taking pictures of the clouds. All right, I just wanted to bring that to you real quick. Okay, so that's me in the clouds. In the sky. That's my face in the clouds with a crown. That's my face in the clouds with a crown. That's my face out by the moon shining on you. Okay. So you're watching the show, fascinated at these images, going, what the heck's going on? You're caught up with me in the clouds. This is me in the clouds, and you're fascinated by this. You're caught up by it. You're intrigued by it. You're caught up with me in the clouds. All right. We just met. Nice to meet you. We just met in the air of cyberspace. How would you describe cyberspace 2,000 years ago? So the word rapture really isn't in the Bible. It talks about being caught up. Well, what does caught up mean? Well, ever since Star Trek came out, everybody thought the words caught up meant beam me up, Scotty, and that you're just going to rise up into the air and meet the Lord in the air. Well, you just did. You met the Lord in the air of cyberspace. You are caught up with me in the clouds. You have a new sense in your heart. You have a new vibrancy inside you. You breathe rarefied air that not everybody gets to see this stuff, okay? Or understand as deeply as you get to. Take a couple deep breaths here. See that love right there? Pulling open his shirt like Superman. Do you see Superman pulling open his shirt and it exposes an S, right? Here's the real Superman. A real man, not a ninny, not a sissy like we got in society. All right? Hi. Oops. That's good right there. Pause it right there. Pause it right there. See this? There we go. There we go. Bend it back a little bit. See that love right there? Eternal love. Oh, that makes you feel a little bit better, doesn't it? And hearing my voice, I bet makes you feel a lot better. Take a few breaths, everybody. Relax. Do a couple of long, deep breaths. Get all in your place. Get comfortable. Yes, get comfortable. Get relaxed. Calm down. Bring your blood pressure down. Everything we looked at just a little bit ago is very disturbing. Okay? So, it's important that we back it up with a foundation. So you'll understand that this stuff is not meant to come after you and scare you. It's part of the Bible. Okay, take a big, long, deep breath and be still in my presence. Even though countless tasks and videos and all kinds of other stuff are clamoring for your attention, nothing, I repeat, nothing is as important as spending this time with me. While you wait in my presence, I do my best work within you, transforming you by the renewing of your mind. See, I just came in and renewed your mind. I transformed you. You have a new perspective. If you skimp on our time together, you may plunge headlong into the wrong activities, missing the richness of what I have planned for you. Okay? So don't seek me primarily for what I can give you, but remember that I, the giver, am infinitely greater than any gift. Okay? Me being here in person, my presence is better than this image in the clouds. Get that part? All right, you could see this and you'd be like, oh, yay! But wouldn't it be better to have a real live person that walks right up and shakes your hand and meets you face to face? Yeah. So, don't skimp on our time. You may plunge headlong into the wrong activities or the wrong videos. You'll go back to watching, well, I don't want to say a channel, but I love the guy. He's very good at reporting, but it's a very scary. I could see the anxiety it builds. The certain channel. I'm not going to say it because I like him too. But it can be disturbing, much like my channel is. Okay, that's how I can relate, and it's important that it's important that you seek me. You don't seek me for what I can give you. Don't seek the gifts. Just remember, I am the gift, and I'm here. 2,000-year-old prophecy came true. You're raptured right now. You are caught up with me in the clouds. Not beamed up like Hollywood said you would be. It doesn't say you would be up in the sky, that you'd be floating in the clouds. It said you would meet him in the air. Big difference. Okay. So, I am the giver, and I love giving gifts, but remember that I myself am the ultimate gift. So, even though I delight in blessing my children, I am deeply grieved when my gifts and my blessings become idols in their hearts. They enjoy the gift, but they forget it's me. Anything can be an idol if it distracts you from me as your first love. Now, anything can be an idol if you put it above Jesus. Okay? Otherwise, if Jesus is your primary focus, nothing else is an idol. Get it? Number one, everything else can be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. As long as nothing else is number one, it's not your idol. Okay? I had other stuff for you guys. What's next here? Okay, so we're talking about desires and desires of the heart. Okay, showing you this heart right here, this super, super unconditional love right there, that heart right there. And if I am the ultimate desire of your heart, well, you are now safe from the danger of idolatry. So as you wait in my presence, enjoy the greatest gift of all, our time together. I am a God who gives and gives and gives. When I died on the cross for you, I held back nothing. I poured out my life like a drink offering. Because giving is inherent in my nature, I search for people who are able to receive in full measure. I search for people who are able to receive, see this, and hear me in full measure. That would be you guys, even on replay. That would be you. Okay? I search for people who are able to receive in full measure, not just part measure. I search for people that are able to receive every little thing I'm giving you: the clouds, the music, the message, the hope, the inspiration, courage, peace that transcends all this nightmare. Okay? I search for people who are able to receive in full measure. So, to increase your intimacy with me, the two traits you need the most are receptivity and attentiveness. Did you know that? Your two traits you need the most are receptivity and attentiveness to me, to what we're doing. Okay? Receptivity is opening your mind. Receptivity is opening up your innermost being to be filled with abundant riches. Okay, that's what receptivity is. Are you willing to receive this wonderful gift? I mean, are you open to it? Receptivity is the opening of your innermost being. That's your soul, your heart, okay? Your innermost being. Open it up. You open up your heart, okay? So opening your innermost being. When you open that up, let it be filled with these abundant riches that you're seeing already. Every single thing in your life is a blessing. It's an abundant rich. All right? You will see your life from a whole new perspective, and everything will be these abundant riches. Okay? Attentiveness is, all right, so we described receptivity. Receptivity is opening up, okay, and being filled with riches. Attentiveness now is directing your attention, your gaze, what you're looking at to me. So point your gaze to me. You see this, you see me in the clouds. Here, that's the best one. You see me in the clouds. Happened on Easter. So I want receptivity and attentiveness. Your attentiveness is directing your gaze to me, searching for me in all your moments and all the blessings, all the treasures that I scatter along your path each day. Okay? Your attentiveness, being aware that, oh, wait, that was out of the blue. That was one of those treasures that he was talking about. You're on a little treasure hunt each day. There's little blessings all scattered all over. And when you find one, pick it up and go, hey, that's one of those blessings. That's a treasure. I see what he means. Okay, those are your abundant riches. They're all over the place, but you won't see them unless your attentiveness is directed towards me. And then you're on a treasure hunt. You're searching for the treasures for me in all your moments. Okay? It is possible to stay your mind on me. Even though such attentiveness you receive, even through this kind of attentiveness, you start to receive this glorious gift, which is this peace that you get, this perfect peace. So it's through attentiveness that you receive this glorious gift, huh? When you're looking at that and you're actually seeing Jesus with long hair and a crown over his head turning into a lion face, a little weird half human, half lion type face with a crown over it, if you're seeing that in this image, your attentiveness is a glorious gift. Not only do I give you the gift of the image, but I give you the gift of now seeing how this works in your clouds. So now you have the gift to see as well. Not only are you receiving the gift by seeing it, now you also receive the gift of how to see it. Right? So there's two gifts right there. If you're looking, if you're attentive. Okay? Um, really don't have much more. I might close with this right here. What time is it? Oh man. I think I might close with this one right here. Let me take a little peek at the chat. Okay, yeah. All right, I think we're gonna do this last one here. So, ouch. Oh, excuse me. Let's see. I was trying to get. We were talking last week about trying to stop trying to work things out. All right. We always have the game plan in our head and we're trying to work things out and we get frustrated and we get overwhelmed. So, really quickly, let me just interject this little in here. This is for somebody in the audience right now, I know. So, stop trying to work things out before their times have come. Accept the limitations of living one day at a time. Do you hear me? Limitations, one day at a time. Quit trying to live in the future right now. Just be in this moment one day at a time. Don't worry about what's going to happen on Friday or tomorrow. What's happening right now? Are you looking at a miracle in the sky? Are you caught up with me in the clouds? Have you met me in the air? Doesn't that sound more important than trying to work things out before their time has come? So, what you guys need to do, it's called acceptance, all right? And I have to say this prayer many times a day. God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change. Help me accept, help me accept, help me accept. All right. So stop trying to work things out before their times have come. Accept the limitations of living one day at a time. Okay. And when something comes to your attention and it starts to freak out, stop. Ask me whether or not it's part of today's agenda. Okay, you see something on the news. Does that matter right now, today, at this moment? What you headlines that got you tripping? Well, not at the moment, not today, right where I'm at. Well, then what are you tripping about? Okay, it's about where you're at in the moment. Okay, and I struggled with it all day today. I was trying to salvage this day, using all my tools, and it just kept getting worse. And I'm like, no, Jesus, help me, please. I'm taking a moment. I'm doing all my tools. It kept getting worse. And it was like I'm trying to turn this page midway through the day and salvage the second half of the day. But this page, the turning of this page was like a 1,000-pound page. And I'm like, why is it all of a sudden so hard to turn my day around today? Usually it's no problem. So, where was I going with that? So when something comes to your attention and it's not part of today's agenda, what was I going to say about the? Anyways, I struggled with that today as well, trying to overcome the day, using all the tools, and sometimes it just doesn't happen right away, right? So accept the limitations and just move on. Now, when something comes to your attention, ask me whether or not, if it's part of today's agenda. If it isn't, If it's not, if you're future tripping and it's not part of today's agenda, release it into my care and then go on about that day's duties, okay? When you follow this practice, there will be a beautiful simplicity about your life, okay? Yeah, you want a beautiful simplicity. You don't want chaos and hectic, right? You've had enough of that. So, when you follow this practice of releasing the future into my care, you will live in that beautiful simplicity because there is a time for everything and everything in its time, okay? A life lived close to me is not complicated and cluttered. I love simplicity, beautiful simplicity, okay? So, a life lived close to me is not complicated, it's not cluttered. And when you focus on my presence, many things that once troubled you lose their power over you, don't they? All of a sudden, you see now that you're bound for heaven, and all these other things that had you worried kind of lose their power, don't they? You see headlines, oh, we're going to go nuclear. Oh, good. I can't wait. We're almost done then. You should look at it in that perspective instead of tripping out. Oh my God, they're going to drop nukes. And what? Oh, I'll see the finish line now. So, different perspectives. You have to have that mindset so you stay strong on the inside, okay, you guys? Beautiful simplicity. When you focus on my presence, many of the things that once troubled you have now lost their power over you. Amen. So be it. Though the world around you is messy and confusing, remember, I have overcome the world. I have told you these things so that in me you may have peace. And I'm talking to you. I'm taking good care of you. Trust me in all times. Trust me in all circumstances. Trust me with all your heart. Trust me with all your heart. Where's that? Well, that's good enough. Okay, you see my heart. I'm trying to help you guys. The more you trust me, the less you're going to be tripping. All right. So remember, I am taking good care of you. Trust me at all times. Trust me in all circumstances, and trust me with all your heart. So when you're weary and everything seems to be going wrong, you can still utter these 4 words: Jesus, I trust you. Or, I trust you, Jesus. However you would like. It's good for your spirit, for your soul. When you relinquish control a little bit and say, hey, you know what? I can't control nukes tomorrow, whatever happens. It could be aurora tomorrow. It could be anything tomorrow, right? Quit tripping about tomorrow. Put that trust in me, and then you're relieved. You'll get that sense of relief. That's what we're seeking, is that sense of relief. How do you attain it? Well, when you trust me at all times, when you trust me in all circumstances, and all times, all circumstances with all your heart, shit, you can't go wrong. Everything disappears. And you can do that by uttering 4 words. I trust you, Jesus. If it didn't work the first time, say it a few more times until you feel it in your heart and you're like, oh yeah, okay. I'm relieved now. I'm not the one in control. Jesus is. I'm relinquishing my this thing that control trip that, a lot of people have. Relinquish that and you're free. All of a sudden, life becomes a lot easier and smooth. It's the beautiful simplicity that I was talking about. So, utter these 4 words Jesus, I trust you, or I trust you, Jesus, and by doing so, you release matters into my control, and you fall back into the security of my everlasting arms. So, each day before you arise from bed in the morning, I have already arranged the events of your day. Every day provides so many opportunities for you to learn my ways and to grow closer to me. Signs of my presence brighten even the dullest day when you have eyes that really see. So search for me as for hidden treasure, and I will be found by you. Search for me as for hidden treasure, and I will be found by you. Did you find me? Do you see this? Are you caught up in the clouds? Did you find me? Oh, uh-oh. Yeah, you're on the right path, you guys. Oh, I love you guys. I miss you. I would really love to go on and on tonight, but I am thoroughly exhausted. I annihilated a whole day sleeping. I got up so late today. I didn't even get any sunshine, and I hate wasting a day. So I'm dealing with my guilt trip issues. How dare I waste an entirely beautiful day? And by the time I got up, showered, got dressed, it was time to cook dinner. And then by the time I cooked dinner or did the dishes, the sun was down. So I'm working on my issues. Tomorrow I'm going to get up earlier and enjoy some more sunshine. That way I'll feel better. Guys are getting cabin fever. Get out in the sunshine. Let it shine on your face. Sun hitting your face activates your pituitary gland, which provides vitamin D, much needed vitamin D. We have a vitamin D deficiency going on in the society as well. And that's because we don't spend a little time in the sun. And me, I know that. I enjoy a little time in the sun. It's like a little moment of peace for me to have my face in the sun. And I didn't get that today, and I'm a little irritated. But I'm working on my issues, and I did the best by getting out and getting the twilight at least. And tomorrow I'll get up earlier, so I'll have more daylight. And so when you have your issues, address them and address them with action. Okay, you don't be like, oh, well, then I'm going to complain and I'll probably end up sleeping in again tomorrow. No, I'm going to set the alarm, get up a couple hours early and make up for the couple hours that I lost. And that way I'll feel better in my head, right? All right, good. Good. So if you're going through stuff like that, I know you are. I'm here to help, okay? I love you all. I miss you all. God bless you all. And until my next show, I will be back. Heck, I'm already back. Can't you tell? I love you all. Bye.